Hi, I'm here with Shiike Vanderwerf, and we're going to be talking a little bit about change and making a change. So, tell me, how do you make a change? This is the million-dollar question in the health industry,
it is.
because so many people start off with the best intentions. You know, we're going to do this, even those early resolutions in the beginning of the year. This year, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to make this change. And we're very motivated to make that change in the beginning.
Yep. And how many of us have made the same New Year's resolution more than once?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people listening have as well. That's part of, I guess, why we stop setting goals and start setting it and sort of all of a sudden we put up with the way things are and live with chronic pain for too long, or be in a bad relationship for too long, because making a change is really tough. And it's okay. So what is if we are making a change, and we've got a clear vision of what that looks like. So I'm not happy with this area of my life. This is how I want it to look. So we make a resolution, or we set a target or a goal, and we know that there's long-term and there's short-term, and there's also daily goals that we need to kind of be really clear about. But what is the one thing that will motivate somebody more than anything else? And this is a fascinating study that was done from the Harvard Business School a few years ago in 2010, where they surveyed a whole lot of managers and leaders and said, what's the most motivating, if you want your employees to achieve goals, what's the most motivating thing for them? And all the bosses basically said, they need to feel appreciated and they need to be rewarded. And then the same people surveyed all their employees, and we're talking 600 companies, across the globe. It was thousands and thousands of people. Funny enough, the employees didn't say being appreciated and being rewarded. The employees said that they are driven by progress. They need to see things are improving or heading in the direction that you want them to head in. Now, this is a key understanding of what motivates us as people. We need to know where we're going, but we also need to know what drives us, and therefore we can know when we are making progress. Motivation is one thing. Momentum trumps motivation every time. We need to be able to do something that contributes to where we want to go and align that with what's really important to us. And when we can do that, we can repeat that again. And all of a sudden, we've got a little bit of momentum. I once heard a guy called Keith Abraham, he's like a guru of goal setting, say that if your goal is a bus, and you're trying to get it started, if there's a little rock under the wheel, it's just so hard to get it going. But once the bus is going, it rolls over rocks quite easily. And that, for me, really sums up the difference between being highly motivated, like New Year's resolution. This year I'm going to, and I'm really excited, and I'm really pumped up, because when we get full of energy, it does burst and we go flat. And there's this curve on a graph called the S curve, or sigmoid curve, and it was written by a guy called Charles Handy in his book The Empty Raincoat. And it simply means that when you invest in change, you will immediately see a decline or period of adjustment. He refers to that as the pit. So how you initially get through that pit is kind of everything.
It's the transition, isn't it?
Yeah, from where I am to where I'm seeing a return on my on my investment. So this is the time where you need to be able to see progress. There's a wonderful little principle called the dot principle, and one of the easiest way to see progress, of course, is to make progress in the smallest amount of things possible. Now, the DOT principle stands for do one thing. Do one thing, D-O-T. If, for example, I'm wanting to run a marathon, which I'm sure all the people who are watching here are there. This year, I'm going to run a marathon. And I'm not a runner. So I set myself the goal, right, tomorrow training starts. I'm going to run a kilometre or run for 20 minutes. Now, that doesn't sound a lot.
Yeah.
But if you're not a runner, it is. And you're probably not going to be able to do it. So the do one thing needs to be smaller than that. And dots can become tiny. Tiny. I'm wanting to become a runner. Okay, well, one thing I need to do then is maybe start by running and walking, maybe 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, or, shorter distances. Once you start knowing that you can do something small, you can repeat it over again. And this is when we start to see progress, and our self-belief changes. Our story that we can't do what we want to do starts to change. We need to get people around us involved in I guess, helping to create some of these things for us. If I sat down with you and said, hey, Louisa, I want to write a book. Can you give me 10 things I could do in the next week to help me out? And there might be some research to do, but ultimately I've got to start doing something small to contribute. You might want to get up early and journal, or you might want to so on and so on. And these small do one things are the key to seeing progress. We know what drives us and we know where we want to go. Can we get the deliverables small enough? So
that's a wonderful principle.
The dot principle.
I love it. The dot principle, which is do one thing and make it those incremental steps small enough so you can see that progress. And I love that because sometimes we have to action things to actually challenge our own beliefs. And when we start to make those little steps and that progress, it can actually challenge us, our thinking. Well, actually, I can do it. Oh, I can make that change. So that self-efficacy starts to build.
Yes.
So it's wonderful.
Yeah, it starts to reframe that identity. And also know that you will fall over. My little nephew Leo, he's nearly 2, and at Christmas he was learning to walk, right? Falling over, getting up, falling over, getting up. How many times did he fall over? We sometimes deal with those little challenges so poorly because we feel that we should be able to do them right the first time, or it should be easy. And that there won't be any sacrifice, and that I won't have to be courageous and challenge some beliefs that I might have about myself. And if the vision is really powerful, the challenges will be bigger. You'll need to be courageous for a little bit longer than all the other people who have stopped doing one thing because it got a bit too tough. And to know that that's coming, and to know that it's okay to have support, and it's okay to both. I mean, ultimately, how dare I think I should get it right the first time? There will be trial and error. It's an undulating process that we see progress in, or that we ultimately make a change in.
Well, I think that's wonderful because many of us have big visions, and when we are young, we have these big dreams, and then we sort of lose momentum. And I like this idea of actually just goal setting by doing one thing, and those small incremental steps become new habits too.
Yes.
Like if you're doing them often enough, and then you start to actually form a mental discipline, and like you said, those new neural pathways that actually support you maintaining that change as well. So wonderful. Thanks for sharing that with us.
No, you're welcome. It's if you know what you're wanting to do, break it down to the small, write them down the night before you go to bed. And we're only talking 1 or 2 things. If I want to be less stressed tomorrow, and I know I've got a big day, well, what's one thing I could do that would contribute to that? I might set an alert to remind me to take 3 deep breaths, or go for a walk in the sunshine, or it's easy to just do one thing that will contribute. If I'm trying to be healthier or lose some weight, I could eat an apple instead of a muffin. or just one thing.
Yeah.
I might even squeeze some lemon into water at the
Yeah.
start of the day. I mean, these are tiny contributions, but all of a sudden I start to see, well, this is who I am, and I'm becoming the version of myself that I want to become. Yeah.
So if you want to make progress, which is about making change, do one thing.